I'm thinking of this as like a Game of Thrones map right now. Like the map becomes red as it goes towards Kiev.
And there's music in the background.
I'm like, ah!
Jon Snow's like riding a giant.
Yeah, the last episode sucks.
Yeah.
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 Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab saying thank you for tuning in. If you're in Southwestern Ontario, remember to get your tickets. The Immigrant Section is on tour. Go to abbaswahab.com. Windsor, Waterloo, London, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal. We coming out. Get those tickets to see the people. And enough of that. With me today, back in the studio. The last time you came on, I believe or 2 episodes ago that you came on. The episode is called World War III. And now it seemed like a fitting time to have you back on. My guy, Faraz Niafattah.
He's back in the building.
Comedian! I like
World
to
War
say
III.
comedian because there's like random people watching. Like, who the fuck are these
like,
two guys? I'm a comedian too if you've never seen this show.
We're
Hi,
both
by the way.
comedians. We're both we're concerned about World War III. That's why
We're
we've
guys
come
in a
together
room
to
with
get
microphones and general concern.
We're actually afraid for our lives. We said too much last time, and this time we're like, you know what? We're going to be a little bit watered down.
There were
We're
repercussions.
Yeah.
Did you see
bunch
that
of people come to
Russian
my house.
businessman puts what's it called? Price on Putin's head, $1 million bounty.
I saw that. There's a lot of there seems to be a lot of probably misinformation. So, because if that guy does that, what's the bounty that Putin puts on his head? Because Putin's much richer, I'm sure. And 1 million for him is like literally $10 for me and you.
Oh, of course.
So he's like, you know what? 100 million on that guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, to have balls and like the gonads to make a move like that, is it because they know he's politically weak, or I'm assuming those people are operating outside of Russia? You're not in Russia being like 1 million on his head, right? That would be suicidal, regardless of your money, right?
Or it's fake. It's like completely just like a Twitter bullshit thing that someone's like, and he did this. And then people are like, oh, man, I'm telling you, all you have to do is a little bit of research and you'll know what's actually happening. You don't have to even be like some kind of political understudy. You don't need to go to U of T. You just need to just spend some time reading about what's been going on. Actually, what's been going on, like text. Don't watch TikTok and be like, "This is what's happening." A lot of
Russia
those videos
explained in 6 seconds, and the guy just dancing.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I think I get it.
Ukraine.
Just
Ukraine.
replay it,
He,
man.
like,
Replay it.
Bites into
He
a
goes,
pickle.
Russia invaded because titties.
Yeah, it's a dance, right? It's like a TikTok trend dance, and then people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe." But the last World War III was because that plane got shot down in January before
when
the
Iran
pandemic.
shot their own plane down.
They shot a plane full of Iranian Canadians, and it was an Air Ukraine, or Ukraine
But
airline.
in addition to like Iran,
A bunch of other shit, yeah. There was a whole bunch of stuff. Nothing came of it because of the pandemic, because the world shut down, and then everyone kind of forgot about it. And then now that the pandemic's
Wrapping up,
on its way out, yeah,
it
people
really
are like,
did seem that like it almost seemed like they're following Google Trends,
yeah,
and they're watching. They're like, okay, pandemic is out. Kanye is out of the news. Pete Davidson is out of the news. Sir, it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Putin's like, you know what this world needs?
Let's
a war.
Go. Yeah. Now, from my point of view, and I've never had interest in politics, and I don't speak like I know politics at all. So anything you hear on this podcast, take that shit with a grain of salt. Except if it's coming from my boy Faraz, which actually knows this shit. You know what I mean?
No, also
you
take
got
it
that
with a grain of salt.
monotone, like,
Yeah.
I know history and
I
politics.
have studied very much.
Yeah. I lost the ahs and uhs in the voice because I studied so much. I'm just in the middle now.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't
just
eat butter. I only eat bread. Yeah, no, trust me. There's
But at the beginning, I thought it was like one-sided. Putin bad, Zelensky good. You know
no,
what I mean?
dude. This is
And then
exactly
now,
why people think like they're like it's him or it's him. It's not. It's like
it's
everything.
a very complicated,
It's
like
a bigger.
1,000 factors. But it really seemed to me like from the outside looking in that Putin was the aggressor. There's nothing. It's just like bullying, trolling. And then as I hear more and more and more and hear this and this and start looking at the greater picture, it doesn't seem like so cut and dry, so black and white. The one thing that does annoy me is like I found out that, do you remember when like Syria, Iraq, all these things happened? If you were an Iraqi born American and you wanted to go to Iraq and help Iraq fight against this invasion, they would like strip you of your American passport.
They
would,
did a
like,
bunch of that.
They would
ISIS,
do
all that
all
stuff,
those
yeah.
for Syrians, for all these people like Libya probably. They're like, this is acts of terrorism, blah blah blah. But with Ukraine,
It's treason.
Yeah, treason. But with Ukraine, like a lot of these European countries are like, go fight for Ukraine.
Why?
Go.
You're going to die.
Go. These are regular white people dying, like white skinned, blue eyed people that have no business at the other side of a missile. These aren't savages that are in an environment that is like war prone. You know what I mean? These people have known peace. They don't deserve this. Go and fight for them.
They just want to have a decent life. The problem is fall of Soviet Union, right?
Did you say the fall?
The fall of the
Okay.
Soviet Union. When that happens, that whole area kind of doesn't really know what to do because they've never had a democracy. So they're like corrupt to the fucking teeth. Everything is corrupt. Everything they do there is
Kind of like
corrupt.
democracies.
Yeah, but here they hide it, so it's not as obvious. It seems like over there
it's
it's
easier to follow the
really
money. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really like in your face.
Yeah.
Like the corruption's like in your face there. So in the Ukraine, for example, they didn't really want to, at least the western part of Ukraine didn't really want to be a part of the Soviet Union and this whole like, let's go back to the way things were and stand under the Soviet flag and sing the songs and, you know, kiss the ring and shit. They want to join Europe. They can't join Europe because Europe's like, yo, you have this eastern part that is mostly Russian. They fuck with Russia heavy. And you guys have a shit ton of corruption. So if we're going to let you have our currency and have like these European things, we need some assurances. So they haven't really. And then there's the oil, which is complicated. Like, you know,
Does Ukraine have big reserves?
it's just a transport through. They use
Gotcha.
it to move
They're the
oil through them.
logistics like hub
That's why they took Crimea. One of the first places they went, Russia was like Crimea, boom,
to control flow.
to fuck with their money flow. So they wanted to take them out
To kinda
business wise.
Gotcha. Okay, all right.
But they have they have the Nord Stream pipeline that goes directly to Germany. The problem is Germany, I believe, had nuclear, and then the Green Party or something was like, nuclear is bad. Let's like switch to oil. Like
Yeah, I heard
something
they switched
happened.
the wind, like heavy wind, and like
Yeah, so
their
that's
prices skyrocketed.
That's the issue. America doesn't care because 60% of the oil comes from us, Canada. So America's
Alberta.
like,
You know,
yeah, like America's not really that. America's not interested in Syria. There's no
Motive.
reason for them
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go in there and help these people. They're just like, I don't fucking know, man.
and is it their NATO is rejecting Ukraine because like upon acceptance of them into NATO, it'd be kind of all hands on deck, like.
It's just too close for comfort for Russia. That's it. There's borders with Belarus, which Belarus loves Russia, and then there's borders with Russia. So they're like, we can't have a NATO country be this close because
To Russia.
Yeah, Russia really doesn't want to be like a westernized place.
So making Ukraine, having Ukraine join NATO would be an act of like aggression in Russia's eyes.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
That would be like, they'd be like, fuck that. type of
Well,
deal.
we freaked out when Russians put missiles in Cuba. Like, how quickly did we just shut that down?
Facts.
It's the same thing. They just looked at that and they're like, okay,
Like
no way.
you guys are, this is a strategic move, and you guys are positioning yourself way too close to comfort.
But Ukraine is an incredibly corrupt place. It just is. And like all the presidents and prime ministers they've had since I think they're on like number 6. Like this Zelensky guy's like the 6th or 7th. Like they haven't had many because of the fall of the Soviet Union. These countries are very new.
Yeah.
And he, you have to look back at like in 2004, there was a revolution because they had a guy, Yushchenko. They had this guy start talking about the West and like interest in Europe. And he was running for presidency in Ukraine. And they fucking Agent Oranged him. They tried to kill this guy with dioxin.
Yeah,
And
like straight up Russian move.
yeah, he almost died, but he ended up, I guess, winning that election. But it was still tumultuous because after he had won that election, I think the next election, another guy. So that was Viktor Yushchenko in 2004, who was like dismembered. He almost got fucked up. Like he almost really got fucked up. But
Is he
something-
alive till this day, or he died?
I don't know, but I think he survived that incident and he recovered. But
Did he
was-
rep the West or the East?
he wanted to join Europe.
Okay, all right. So he's the progressive.
So
Ukrainian,
Russia's like,
yeah.
yo, fuck this guy. I need
Gotcha.
puppets in
Gotcha,
all
gotcha.
my states.
Yes.
And then the next guy who came on was another Victor. His last name is like Yanukovych. I'm like, for your Ukrainian viewers, we're like
fuck it,
butchering
you know
the
what I
last
mean,
name.
Yeah, but anyways, this guy puppet or for the
Big
West?
time puppet.
Okay. So he goes
Yanukovych, yeah. He is like the biggest puppet ever. There's
was
was
literally
like
a giant hole in his ass.
Yeah.
Like, this is where a hand goes.
he
in.
literally just the strings just move
Yeah,
him through the wind. That guy, not only there was so much election fraud, voter fraud, there's people literally at voting booths standing there with like guns and like to scare people to not vote. So he won the election, but because of
like Russian style.
because of the fraud and stuff, there was another revolution after that. So the first revolution in 2004 was, they called it, I guess, the Orange Movement or something, because they used Agent Orange on the guy they
But
wanted.
he survived, yeah.
He survived. And then this guy comes back, and then I guess they called it the Euromaidan because Western Ukraine really wants to be a part of Europe. They're like, yo, this is great. Why would we want to go to this like gray skies and like, you know, nuclear plants exploding and all this corruption? And so this Yanukovych guy wins, but then there's this huge protest in 2014 in Kiev.
Yeah.
And, you know, they kill a bunch of protesters. Like almost 100 people get just killed by the police.
Sudan style. Yeah.
Dude, why is there a South Sudan?
Yeah.
I still think that ultimately it's going to be a West and an East Ukraine. But the reason that people are kind of worried right now is because they've already taken the East. But if they take Kiev, that fucking guy that got exiled,
What? By the way, before this exile, Kiev is situated where?
West.
The West. Okay. So if they take it, they took the country pretty much. They've swarmed their way through.
Essentially, yeah, there's nowhere to go
Gotcha.
for Ukrainians.
And who's this guy you just said?
So Yushchenko was the first guy. Victor won.
By the way, loving your knowledge of
Victor
of all
too?
this shit. Like, I'm thinking of this as like a Game of Thrones map right now.
It's
of like a
100%.
swarm of the Lannister.
Yeah.
Like the map becomes red
Right.
as it goes towards Kiev. I'm like, okay, all right, what's happening now?
And there's music in the
Yeah,
background.
I'm like, ah.
Jon Snow's like riding a giant.
Yeah, the last episode sucks.
Yeah.
But,
People are so upset. The dragon.
yeah. Fuck.
That fucking
This wasn't
dragon,
World
man.
War III.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's not going to be a world war because not everyone's participating.
Did you hear how they're not letting they're only letting pretty much European Union people and like whiter people leave the country? Like all the like refugees, like all
All
the
that
immigrants, they're not allowed to leave the country.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're not going anywhere.
There is a lot of stuff there, man. But essentially, this corrupt guy who was Putin's puppet,
So 2014 big riot
because this corrupt guy that Putin planted
clearly won as a result of corruption.
And
Yeah.
they got rid of him. He was exiled out of Ukraine. Guess where? To Russia. By the way, he used to work in the Soviet government back in the day.
Like in Russia.
Yeah, and also he was the governor of the Donetsk region, which is the one that got sieged pretty early on in this. So when they kicked him out of Ukraine, this president, that's when all this started to happen. 2014, 2015 in eastern Ukraine, that was a result of it. Is a lot of those like old-timey people who have been like Russia supporters forever, they fought back. In Kiev, you have all these like Western supporters who kicked him out
Gotcha.
of the country. And then
So when they
the
kicked him out, they literally
they exiled him. He's so if he ever goes back to Ukraine and with the current government, he's gonna spend like 13 years in jail
gotcha. They
for
exiled him.
treason and all
Okay,
this shit.
gotcha. All right.
But he also
Be the
lives in
courts.
Russia in a $50 million mansion.
Yeah, of course.
Has $12 billion.
Oh, he's a decorated veteran of the state.
He's another puppet of Putin's who gets money as a result
He
of
did
it.
what he was told.
Right now, he's in Belarus, in Minsk.
Yeah.
And if they take Kiev and they take control of Ukraine, they'll put that guy back. The guy that was exiled, he's coming home
As president.
as the president.
Yeah.
If they get rid
And
of
they'll be
Zelensky,
like, what are you talking about? Clearly, the Ukrainians want him. There was over a 98% voting rate for him.
no,
So,
it was
I
very
mean,
low. It was like 45 or something.
It'll be 98% when he goes back in.
Yeah, because they'll just stuff the ballot boxes and be like, see, it was a
He had
fair election.
very successful campaign.
So I feel sorry for, obviously, people in Ukraine.
Okay,
but
so
there's lots of places.
Zelensky, in the wake of all this rioting, he comes up as a progressive Western style.
Yeah.
He wants to go become part of Europe, and he reps the new age thing that the West likes.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be part of the West.
But I didn't even know Ukrainian president's name before this went down. What I want to know is, what was he like on the world stage prior to this whole thing? Was he known as a good guy? Was he known as an aggressor?
He had some scandals. There was some
yeah?
financial stuff. There was like some offshore accounts, but he admitted to all of them. I think.
Just money stuff.
Money
That's
stuff.
inevitable.
But there's so much corruption, dude. So many people just come up to you and they're like, "Yo, I'll give you like this much money, but you need to like do this for me." But it's like so blatant. Like, so they do that here, like healthcare, lobbyists. This is bribery. They go to the parliament, they find MPs, and they go, here's some money. Make sure that my pharmaceutical company gets like a tax break. But they do it so discreetly that we never hear about it. But over there, it's like they literally have like a press conference where they're shaking hands and there's like a suitcase and he's giving it to the guy.
Oh, yeah?
Like, it's just too obvious.
It's just missing the dollar sign?
It's just too obvious. Yeah. It's like fucking, we're playing.
Like literally dollar sign sack? For Snake
deal or no deal.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Here's your laundry.
So there's a lot of people in Ukraine who want to be part of Europe because they're just tired of this old way of life. This like Soviet, there's not enough to go around.
By the way, that's exactly how it works in a lot of the Arab world.
Yeah, man. A lot of people are just like, I'm
like,
sick of...
you need the permit? There is no actual
check
queue.
this out.
There's no queue for you to get this permit in the government system. This is just strictly a fee that is subject to what we think you can bear.
It's worth it.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, I applied a year ago. What's going on? Like, you idiot. We need 30 grand.
But my prediction is the same as there's a North Korea and a South Korea. There used to be just a Korea.
It's going to go west and east?
It's going to go west, Ukraine, east Ukraine. There's a river that goes through Ukraine. They're going to probably cut it off there. And then the west part. The problem is I know that Putin really doesn't want any part of Ukraine to be a part of the West. But the West is like, bro, if we wanted to, we would fucking kill you. Yeah. So there's a bit of a back and forth. And then people are paying
as far as resources are concerned, how are they divvied up in the countries?
Man, it's a mess.
Yeah?
Like, I don't even know. Belarus is just like, it must be a nightmare to live there.
This is I thought Belarus is a little country there, right?
It is, but it's still like, they're also invading Ukraine. Like, they're helping
Belarus
Russia.
is?
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty much Russia, little Russia sperm. Just
for sure, yeah. Just like
there.
a loose
just
sperm. Just a Bella sperm.
Yeah. So they're pretty much just a base, a Russian base.
A means to help in this invasion. But it's also not going very well. Like, they're not doing a good job.
Of the invasion.
Yeah, it just seems like they wanted this to be done in a week, and it's still ongoing.
Like, they want to take the country over in a week.
They want it to be in Kiev in like 6 or 7 days. And I think a lot of Russian soldiers are also defecting. Like,
yeah, I heard it's like the lowest level of like no one is willing to.
They don't want to fucking shoot people.
Yeah.
They don't want to go and kill people for what?
Yeah, because the propaganda and what's it called, corruption is also rampant in Russia, and it's been like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading like it's an all-time low like willingness to actually put your life on the line for Putin. Putin isn't seen as this like Stalin or something like that.
Nobody likes him, man.
Yeah, it's just kind of like...
He likes himself, and that's it. He thinks he's...
Did you see that picture where he's with his ministers on a very long table? Is that real, or is that they just add a middle
separation,
section? He does that on purpose?
To be like, I'm God or something. Or they're afraid of him, too.
Because he's short, right?
Dude,
so
it's like Stalin. It's
far.
like Joseph Stalin. Literally same style. Same thing. It's like, if you cross me, I mean, he can't like kill them because there's too much media coverage inside Russia. But so he just like exiles them or puts them in a jail or like sends them to Siberia. But like Stalin would just kill all of his generals, if he didn't like them. Yeah. It's the same, man. They've been doing this forever. Yeah. Like, why is anybody surprised?
Lenin too, same shit?
Like, how far back can you go? The
It was Lenin, Stalin, then Putin. Stalin was in the middle, right? Lenin was first.
I don't know.
I just watched the making of a dictator, whatever the fuck.
Dude,
I actually like those episodes.
But that's how they've been governing. So it's like in the Middle East, they've always had kings. And then when you're like, let's do a democracy, people are like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, this is how we know. I remember I have a lot of Iraqi friends, and they were just like, Iraqis liked Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, I mean, people like Libya's Gaddafi.
Yeah. But like my very good friend, his dad was in Saddam's like army. He was a general. He wasn't a general, but he was an officer in the army. But like there was a great respect until this day, an admiration and great respect. He was kind of like ruled it like a king. He didn't rule it like democratic. Like, we're gonna see it. We're gonna take him to court. It's like the public knows you did this thing. You will be killed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, there's new evidence and forensic this. No. It's like It's been decreed and done.
But there was a lot of inequality.
But, oh, of course. And the fact is, for Saddam, it's great, but reality is your seeds grow up in that power, and it goes to their head, and you have the most ruthless like sons.
Easily.
It always becomes like that.
Yeah, because they're rich kids.
Killing
They're just
cats
like, I
and
love
humans,
this, yeah.
and they're
Just
just
chopping
insane.
people's
They're
heads
so divorced from reality and pain.
Dude, and a lot of Ukrainians are kind of poor or like living under the poverty line. Like to begin with, like even
they're
before
like the white
this.
people. Ukrainians were the white people in the subsidized neighborhoods I grew up in. Like the white people were Ukrainians.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Serbians and
Trailer
Bosnians.
Park Boys.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just struggling. But man, it's too bad because there might be a way to resolve this, but everybody's so angry, you know? So
By the way, when it first went down, their Anonymous was like, Anonymous announces they will be, you know what I mean, enacting cyber
we're gonna
warfare
hack
upon
these
Russia.
people, yeah.
And then it's like, first of all, you haven't heard shit. And I saw a picture of like, these people hackers hack into Russia and this. And it's like a gas station.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
I
all
saw
the thing
that,
that says,
the
fuck you, Putin.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
it's not real shit.
You guys, I thought I would think of an F-18 fighter like coming at someone and then just falling
They
from the
hacked it?
sky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
like all the electronics shut off.
I don't
That's what
know.
I think hacking
I
is.
doubt it.
Or like
They
a
could
missile
do that.
turns around and hits yourself.
yeah, right.
They're just like, fuck you,
The
Putin.
sex dolls just
The-
show up to the front lines and start shooting people.
The guy's just like, we did it.
Get some.
We finally are causing
Every
dissent.
every country has this issue though. We have it too. Quebec wants to separate the trucker convoy. There's lots of unrest here too. There's a lot, and just because they went and wrapped them up outside of Ottawa and moved them out of that parliamentary area doesn't mean that they're
on
done.
the highway. I just came from London.
Doesn't
to
mean
and
they're
from.
done.
I'm just like seeing like the whole right lane.
They're not done, man.
Like, damn, man, people are
They're
hella
not done.
unemployed.
I know, but so this is the problem. So when you have like a big country to govern and you have all these different ideologies, America is like literally a fucking tinderbox right now.
Oh, every state, you cross state lines, there's new rules every time.
They just have to make sure Trump
I like.
doesn't win again. If he does, it's like, okay, bonfire, burn it. People are not going to like it.
I know. I don't see him winning again. You know, I mean, by the next election, he'll be a solid 80, won't he?
I don't even know if I don't even know if he could run. I don't know what's going to happen. It's too soon. It's also way too soon. It's
And he's got
Sleepy
this
Joe.
taste, yeah, this taste of freedom. Why would you want to go back to the?
No, he wants it. His ego's
I
like
guess his
just out
ego's
of
on some
control.
next
Yeah,
shit.
out of control. And he wants to just be the like
But you did it though.
the
It's
leader
like
of. Yeah, but he
like
wants
there's
2 terms.
Yeah, but it's also like
And to come back.
90% of it is being president,
It was rigged.
and the
It
other
was
10%
fake.
is doing 2 terms. It's like, who cares? You did the thing already. Is it worth campaigning? Is it worth scrutiny? Is it worth all that
He
shit?
just
That's
wants
crazy.
to be remembered, probably.
You already are.
Yeah.
You like, if he goes back in, you're fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of like got out while you were on top, so to speak. You know what I mean?
But dude, everywhere's got their problems. That's why America's like, we're not going to go around fixing anybody's shit anymore. They tried, and let's give Afghanistan and
We're
Iraq
like, wait, let's
democracy.
see what they have.
They tried to give Vietnam, yeah, but they're taking stuff from them too. But this time they're like, especially Syria really doesn't have resources. So they're like, listen, you guys are
Syria's
on your own.
Russia, pretty much, right?
No, Syria it would be closer to like maybe Persia. Like
No, not like physically, like geographically.
Oh, no, it's
I'm saying
surrounded by-
control-wise, I thought it was like
Yeah, well, Russia now.
Russian controlled, pretty much.
Russia took a big interest for sure, but it's not under control. It's
gotcha.
like there's nothing
Still
there.
war and what?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
there's
leveled.
still people there.
Fucking.
I thought like the world has pretty
Struggling.
much absorbed every Syrian person at this point. Germany's taken 100 million. Germany, it's funny every time something bad happens in the world, Germany's like, come in.
Yeah, yeah.
The Holocaust didn't happen. Hitler didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but they have a lot of resources to help people. They really can do it, which is incredible.
Yeah, but I remember when they let all those Syrians in, and the media's like,
I know.
Syrians raping,
I know.
killing. Look what they allowed to come in. And
They
like,
almost built
Yeah.
a wall with Mexico because they're like all these rapist Mexicans who come and make Taco Bell. They're just raping so much that
yeah, right.
they're here to clean the toilets and do the gardening and rape. It's like, what?
You were just in California last week, bro. Did you see any Mexicans raping?
Everywhere, man.
Everywhere?
It was all over. They raped
you
me.
You heard it first on the Immigrant Section. They weren't lying about the Mexican problem.
No, dude, they're just like,
Let's build the wall.
they're literally the nicest people and they're just trying to make a living. And Yeah.
I told you I did applications in the United States where the whole diversity or ethnic section was Hispanic, non-Hispanic. That's it.
But there's like millions and tens of millions.
I know, but to just have those as options that always fucked with me every time. And I did that a couple times. It was like, hey, that's all we need to know.
Yeah.
Fuck, you're black, fuck it. Come on over. Like, how much do you hate?
Bring it in.
Hispanic people.
Yeah.
Like, you're Hispanic. Oh, okay. It doesn't matter if you're fucking from Spain or like
it don't matter.
El Salvador. It's all Hispanic, I guess?
I guess, yeah. Well, there's Latin America maybe as an option. Hispanic speaking. I don't know. I haven't applied.
Do you like the vibe of America more? Do you see yourself in the long term being like living in Canada or America?
I mean, America seems like a more people there are able to speak their mind more easily. I think Canadians are like way too much like behind closed doors, or like they just can't tell you how they're feeling. Like I think a lot of Canadians are polite, but polite is not a good thing. I think it's nice to have someone tell you exactly.
Ontario's the worst of that.
There's lots of the East Coast in general, except for Quebec, I guess. But
like what's really like a clear indicator of that mentality in Ontario is that they have already, everyone else has given up on the mask. All the other states, Alberta, when I was there before the mask mandate went away, but it was effectively gone. Ontario cannot have an effective, the population cannot adopt a general way to operate unless the government decrees it. You know what I mean? Like people will be telling me to put a mask on in businesses knowing tomorrow is the final day of masks. Yeah. Like in Ontario, whereas everyone else is just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everyone here is like, mask, you need the mask. It's like, God,
they're staring at you.
Nothing changes between now and the 3 weeks. They just set a date. Like it's over. Like
I know.
That's the most Ontario thing. And America's not like that. As soon as America just will be like, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They never really did it. Texas was like people were just dipping their cookies in ranch and getting fatter by the minute. No one even attempted to be, let's be healthier or let's none of that.
They've been living regular life for over 12 months. You realize this?
Yeah.
Like in Florida, these people?
Oh,
it's just been life.
What about all that middle shit? Kansas and, I never paid attention to what their COVID protocols were. Like Kentucky,
Arkansas,
Tennessee, like
Idaho,
that whole Bible Belt didn't give a fuck.
I love that. I wish I was in the Bible. Anytime a pandemic hits,
it's way more interesting.
Is God-fearing.
It's way more interesting,
you know what I mean? Something about these secular societies are just like mask until the end of time.
Yeah.
The God people are like, fuck the mask. God's on our side.
Well, we lived in fear of dying, and the healthcare system, our precious healthcare system's going to die. It's going to crumble. And so we did a lot. No one more than Australia and New Zealand, though. Like, they weren't letting anyone in at all. Like, they were very isolated.
Oh, yeah. They had, like, police presence on. Like,
that was bad.
Yeah.
But they have way better weather, so fuck you guys. We have winter here for, like, 6 months where we just sit at home and we're like, fuck.
I know. It's like, might as well do the pandemic now. I tweeted. I was like, one of the sweetest days in Canada is when you get to take your snow brush out of your car and put it back in the basement.
Get that garbage out of here.
Get that out of the car.
You're
like, that kicks off the 6 months worth living in Ontario.
I know.
You know, we got till late October.
It's going to be a wild
mid-November.
summer. It's going to be a wild summer.
I know.
There's going to be so many pregnancies.
Oh, I know. Skyrocketing, huh?
Like Trinity Bellwoods is going to be a nursery. There's going to be just babies everywhere, strollers.
Sundress sales are going to be at an all-time high.
Like
you know what I mean?
Everybody's just going to be fucking. It's going to be very...
apple-bottom jeans.
Boots with the fur. It's going to be wild, man. Closing to all those songs are going to be played. All those 90s throwbacks. People are going to be throwing frisbees around.
This is going to be fully out of pandemic summer.
Yeah, finally. And they can't go back because
they had that summer like 3 summers ago. And fucking
lockdowns don't work, man. They don't work.
I know. But you know what? At least they got their playbook, you know? That's why...
But at the end of the day, what was this all about? What was this for? Like all these protections, people were still dying and getting sick.
I think...
Was this a test, like a fire alarm to be like, how quickly can you leave the building? How quickly will people like fall into line and get a vaccine? Was this a test?
Maybe, on some new world order, Illuminati controlling like the movements of the world's countries, yes. But like on an individual society basis, I think it's just like stay healthy. Remember to stay healthy because like
I hope so.
It could just turn and it doesn't matter. Some people think, I got 20 years. This diabetes isn't going to fuck me up for a decade, right? But some shit may just pop up that'll like eat you up in 3 months. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
dude.
it's like the general lesson here, if anything, I think, is stay healthy.
No. Or if there's a struggle, die as fast as you can. Like
Yeah,
my plan
get
is
out of
like
the way. We don't have a bed for you.
World
we
War
do not have a
III.
bed for you.
I'm dead in the first hour. Like
World
easily.
War III, I thought would be just straight up drones and cyber warfare.
It will be, yeah. America's not going to send any troops. They're going to have some kid, who's like a video game all-star
like
in Colorado.
master- Yeah, exactly.
And like some
First-person
control
shooter, like,
room. Like
number
with
one.
a controller flying around a plane, nuking everybody.
He placed gold by the time he was 7 in the international first-person shooter competition.
But these video games like
fucks.
are training these kids to like, eventually you want to fly a drone, like an actual drone, and like join the military.
Oh, and then I'm already thinking about the drone, like the drone games. Oh, that's gonna be a thing in the future. The drone games,
Yeah.
because so many, I see it more and more. Like every autistic kid I grew up with that was weird in the playground by himself. Nowadays, he's weird on the playground with himself, but he has a drone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's just like, I love this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
those kids are gonna
They're learning,
gain
man.
a level of coordination and
It's a
acumen with this
co-op.
thing that's God level. And I want to see them pilot drones in like a real 3D like playground, whatever you want to call it, with hoops and like
Yeah.
fucking Harry Potter Quidditch style
Yeah.
shit, and just like
Yeah.
he's just like this is like
Just one
savant.
kid's a Santa Claus, like drone. He's like, meow, I'm dropping presents on everybody. Yeah. Like,
and he's literally killing everyone.
Yeah.
There's like a full like U.S. pilot drone team like,
Yeah.
in like camo,
watching.
like, go,
yeah.
go, Sergeant.
No, that's like scouting. When they go watch like football players scout, they're like, oh yeah, this kid's good. He's fast. He's a good wide receiver. The same thing. That kid can fly a drone.
It'll be the opposite though. It'll be the thickest lenses, the most like scoliosis kid.
Just
They
killing
will look
it.
at him like, look at that, look at the curvature in that spine.
Make him an offer.
My God,
It's an internship.
be the best drone pilot we've ever seen in this side of the
Forever and ever. But dude, that's
Pacific. That's the future.
yeah. That's good though. Then you don't have any PTSD, because all the PTSD comes from having to go and actually stab someone to death or like shoot someone in
The physical act.
yeah, when you're sitting behind like some screen and you can't really tell what you're doing.
I'm sure though. I'm sure those like there's a program, PTSD like counseling program for the drone pilots in the U.S. Navy,
Probably.
military, whatever.
Probably. America
They're like,
literally has everything.
when I pressed enter, my life changed.
Now I have to go to Trader Joe's and try to get the cacio de pepe.
Yeah, when I had to press Control O, that's how we,
Yeah.
that's how we actually deliver the payload.
Yeah.
I just knew that I was taking lives, and after clicking Control O, I could never sleep another night.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
I have
reverse
dreams
that
of the
Control
enter
O.
button and the space bar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that film flashback where it's like
Yeah, the flash. It's like a film noir. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Just coming in near an enter
Yeah.
button.
Oh, for sure.
A woman with a corset.
Oh my god.
fainting.
Yeah, we're
Black
making
and
fun
white.
of
Godzilla.
We're making fun of PTSD. Take
Not
that.
cool. That's
well,
a
is what it
now
is.
Canada Dry is gonna be like, you know what? Fuck these people.
Fuck these guys forever.
We were fine with all the
PTSD.
conspiracy war shit, but PTSD victims.
Yeah. Don't you
That's
dare.
where we draw the line.
No, we're just joking around. But yeah, man, strange times. Hopefully, it's gonna be a good summer.
It's gonna be a
Hopefully
good summer. Bro. It's gonna be a good summer.
Hopefully, it doesn't rain every day. We could get some good weather, and hopefully, because this work from home seems like it's gonna stick around, which I'm down for.
My buddy works like he's a product manager, and these new hours, like I fucking left corporate the wrong time.
I know,
man.
same.
Fuck. I'm like,
It's
your
nice
new
now.
hours. I'll fucking go back and get a 6-figure job and make this shit work somehow.
Dude.
Doing podcasts at night, but like my buddy works, every day, but still, like he goes to the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 to fucking 6.
Yeah, no, they've made it
1
like
to 6. People don't even show up in the morning anymore.
I know. No, there's a lot of companies that are like just you work remote and you set your own hours because it's like
It's undeniable at this point.
Yeah,
Back
why-
then they would have
why-
been like,
yeah.
no,
It
be
worked.
here. We're paying you. Let me
just
watch
show up
you.
at 9 and leave at 5, but
Yeah.
like you only work 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. But you were in the building, so they feel good about the salary they're paying you. As long as they're in the building, then I know they're not playing hooky.
It's
or
just a
fucking-
control thing.
Yeah,
I need to-
100%.
You need to be afraid of me because I could fire you and then you couldn't feed your kids and like woo.
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
that kind of shit.
And same dude, his girl, like his wife, works at Deloitte, and they ran the stats, and they were more profitable and had higher operational efficiency during the mass work from home period.
Yeah, of
So it's
course.
like
No overhead.
the stats are no look. Well, a lot of these things are lease based, so it's like you're paying either way because you probably lock these offices lock them in 5 years at a time or whatever. But like, still, they didn't lose money. They get like, for whatever reason, their profit went up. I didn't ask, but like, the stats show that it's better for you operationally. Obviously, it's a case by case basis, but like a lot of these operations, you don't need to be next to the person to be like, what did you think about the fucking meeting, the design meeting? Did you have any questions?
Yeah, meetings about meetings.
Yeah.
No, it's done. Hopefully. And hopefully it stays that way because I don't think anybody's trying to get on the bus to go back to their office. Hopefully not. If you're still doing it, you better look for a new job, man. There's a lot of shit out there that's work from home, work remote. You know, you can work from. I could probably go to California and work remote, and spend my winters out there, and then come back.
Dude, everyone's doing
in
that
the summer.
now.
Yeah,
My buddy's brother lives in Dubai, no tax.
yeah.
Got the 1 year visa where you can just live and work from home.
It's a good life,
there,
man. It's a good
and
life.
just lives there and works he's got the time zone fuck up, but still like.
So what?
Just choose where you want to be in the world as long as you can muster lining up the time zones. Because
Exactly.
it's not like we have to be lining up 8 hours. We just need a couple hours of like, when I'm done my shift and you're beginning yours, we got to overlap a little bit so we have all hands on deck.
We can.
But we don't need an 8 hour overlap.
Yeah. No, it's
Made the world
thank
more
God.
global, if anything.
that's the one silver lining of this pandemic.
Yeah, like before it would have been like you apply for a job in Spain and they'd be like, of course you have to come here. And now it's like,
You don't.
it's not unreasonable for anyone to be like, I propose that this is a 100% work from home role.
I'm gonna stay in Montana, and that's it.
Exactly, yeah. I don't think that's far-fetched to ask for.
No.
It just worked a couple of years.
And it, it's given people some balance again, to have a life. Because I know some people who like spent their whole lives just working and raising their kids, and then when they get old, they're like, well, this is retirement. I'm supposed to enjoy myself, but like I can't even hold my pee in, and like I can't. My back is fucked, and everything's broken.
I've been carrying this family for fucking 4 decades.
I'm literally pissing my pants like I'm Liam Neeson. Like I can't hold it in.
That was that old mentality. Like, we'll save, and then when we get old, we will spend. Like,
That we'll
you're
go
not
to Hawaii
You're gonna
once.
hold every penny.
Fuck
you
all
see
that
that
shit.
old people that just don't want to let go. It's like, dude, you're on death's door.
Yeah, let it go.
Fucking just get a cashmere sweater. Why not?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I don't
Live a
need
little.
cashmere. Get cashmere. Why
Yeah,
not?
I
You're
know.
about to fucking meet God. Just get cashmere.
It's sad, man. There's a lot of people, like, even when I used to work at that engineering company, there were people there who had been there for 25 years. Our office manager had been there for like 45 or something.
Yeah.
Like she was 26 when she started there, and she just worked her whole life there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Dude, I know. I did a co-op for
Wow.
8 months at a tobacco plant, and my boss, who's like the lead chemical engineer, I won't say his name, but same thing. He worked there for 30 years,
Oh
and
my
like
God.
you can see, he's constantly having. He never smoked, but working at a tobacco plant and being around. He worked in the R&D, so everyone's in every conference room. They're all smoking. They're like,
Wow.
it's minty.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
It's literally Mad Men shit, but like in 2000s. But I know when I was there, I don't know the nature of his health problems, but he was always getting time off. He was like in his 50s, but he looked like he was coming up on his 70s. Like it aged him like
for sure.
crazy.
And
you
for
know?
what? For
Exactly.
a job, for a
what?
paycheck. It's
For what?
just a paycheck, people.
His room was stacked with ISO. He was like, he was the one who would oversee all the ISO certifications.
Oh.
Stacked with ISO.
Just
ISO.
going through
I'm
everything.
just like, not even necessarily like that one's from like the audit 2 years ago. I when I have a second, I'll put that away. That one's like, you know what I mean? Like the decades just pile up around you.
I know.
You don't even. I'm like, whoa! You just go in that office. The health issues that I'm just like, I saw this as a co-op before I even graduated.
Yeah.
So these are the little like seeds that are planted of like,
Nah.
this is how this pays out.
Yeah.
He may be making 200-300 grand a year.
so
Sure.
what?
To people like, dude, that's great money,
about
right? Sure,
quality
let it
of
be great
life?
money, but it's like, took him
He's dying.
35 years.
Sounds
he's
like
dying,
he's dying.
and look at this room.
Yeah. No, it's shit. Also, the universal basic income might happen or might not. I mean, CERB was like
That was a test
a
for
trial,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't
beta.
think it worked because they're not taxing rich people enough and corporations.
Well, however you tax
so it's caused
people,
inflation.
there's entire industries for how to snake out a tax. Whatever
Yeah.
tax law you impose,
Let's find a way around it.
It creates specialists who come
For
come
sure.
to me,
I know what to do.
pay me this, and I promise you will not be. You
You'll
know
pay
what I mean?
$0 tax.
Yeah, in fact, whatever I can save you, I make 15% of. Like these guys are like,
I know.
I will do the fucking corporate like squirrel dance for you. I'll figure out like the ballet, because law is ballet. The older I get,
It's just reading, actually, man. They just sit there and they just find one thing and they're like, we could interpret this in a way that
they're
we
like,
could.
in Roe v. Stevenson, the same accusation was made, and
they
the
make
judge
their arguments.
like.
It's sad, man, because there's a lot of money in this country. It's not circulating properly. And at some point, like when you're this greedy, rich person, you have to ask yourself, like, how much is enough? But the answer is always never enough. As long as that's the answer, we're never going to get anywhere. People are always going to be grinding. They don't even know why.
But the solution to that is like, that's even more beyond me. The solution to these things, I don't even know what it'd be. Like the most generous, successful people I know are usually talent based. They're not like, I discovered a niche in the market, I exploited it, I created a business that had an explosive valuation, and I'm very rich as a result of that. It's someone who's like, I'm very good at this thing.
I'm a nerd.
I'm either athletic and I'm in a league where now I've like leveraged it for a lot, and like I'm chill. I give money because I just use my talent.
Well, these are public
or like
figures.
very smart people, but like these very business savvy and driven. From what I've seen, they're not like the ones who are like, yeah, I'm giving a huge amount to charity. I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
like
just doesn't
Kevin
seem to
Hart,
be
I don't
that-
think donates to anybody, and like I don't know.
I think Kevin Hart does donate, but he'll probably make like a show of like giving the check to the foundation.
Look at me and
the handing,
smiling.
yeah,
Love
exactly.
me.
And like there'll be a whole like and he got a huge deal from the big check makers.
Yeah.
It's an $8 million endorsement deal.
Yeah.
It's a $6 million check.
The Rock is like that too.
You know what I mean? He's netting.
They just love that. They're like, there's always a residual.
There has
somehow.
to be something. You
have to
know it's
have
a
me.
move.
I know. Honestly, though, like, yeah, but the world's billionaires too aren't even the greatest people.
Oh, do you hear about how they do the art game?
No.
That's the biggest scam ever.
Ugh.
They commission an artist to paint something, give them, whatever, $8,000, and then they get someone to evaluate it for like 10 million, and then they hold it and it appreciates to 50 million, and then they donate it to a museum at a $50 million valuation. That's a $50 million tax write-off.
What a joke.
You know what I mean? And like they'll go even higher. Like they'll just get a huge little like credit for their tax, being like, because that painting was worth $1 trillion, so I don't pay tax on it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
makes me so mad.
It's just moves. And there's specialists, like people like, you want to hide your money? Come to me.
They love this, man. That's
But
like
here's
a
the
game
thing,
for
though.
them.
Here's the reality. When we get money, I'm gonna try to hide as much of it from tax as possible. Like, I mean, like, who isn't? You know what I mean? Like, look at all of the shit you pay taxes for. Like, think about America. We pay taxes for all the police enforcement. And all the black communities, like, we're being like killed
Yeah.
and harassed by these people that we're paying our taxes for, you know? So it's like, who the fuck is really winning, being like, here's all the money the government said I owe them. I'm the best. I'm doing my part. You know what I mean?
That's a in America, there's a big mentality of like, if you haven't earned it, why should I help you? Like people
Very
there,
conservative capitalist.
they're just like, fuck you. You're like some bum, scrubby, whatever. But hopefully universal basic income can be a real thing.
But I lean more on the like that with a little liberal.
Sure.
Than I am mostly liberal with a little conservative.
Yeah. I mean, the older you get, the more conservative you become.
Like tough love only goes so far. You know what I mean? It's like he's schizophrenic. You know what I mean?
I don't know if we want to give him $2,000.
Stop blabbering and hitting yourself.
Yeah.
All right? Go to the gym. Work on that posture and get
Yeah.
a suit. He's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
he can't talk.
You
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Fuck
he
it.
thinks there's
Leave him
fucking
alone, yeah.
ghouls on
Yeah.
him, bro.
But I'm telling you, like, that $2,000 a month CERB
Oh, bro.
did a lot of damage to the like economy here, because they're just,
Well, it was inflation. Like,
well, when you create more money, there's more money out in the world to buy goods, so the price of goods can go up because there's just more money, like money creation. But all this money didn't really go like it went into the hands of more of these businesses because it's being consumed. Like you go to Canadian Tire with your CERB money, you go to gas with your CERB. So all these corporations just got another big payout because we're out there consuming, using the CERB to, landlords are getting their rent, whatever.
Yep.
So, and I heard a lot of weird things, like people went and bought cars and whatever they did.
Oh yeah,
But that always trickles back up to them, but then they're not really taxed on it properly, so the government doesn't get it back. That's the problem.
So like the money is really like the end buckets of like all the money is separate private corporations.
To corporations.
Yeah.
And the people who are the largest shareholders of those corporations.
Facts.
So
but
the government's like, let me help the people with this payout, but that payout ended up helping the corporations only.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like that. They're like, they're too big to fail. That's what happened with Ford. That's what happens.
They're worried about jobs.
With the credit cards. That's what happens.
That's what I mean.
The banks.
It's a vicious cycle. We have tons of problems here too. Like, don't think that. I mean,
well, I'm just waiting for this real estate thing. See, what I'm like. Let's say you were an engineer and you make $100,000 a year. You graduated 3 years ago. Whatever. Back when I graduated in 2014, that was like. That's probably what, around what my friends were making. 2017, let's say $100,000 a year. Some doing better, some doing worse. Back then, you could get a house on that. You could get an apartment.
That wasn't even long ago.
Yeah. I mean, that was 5 years ago. And we're talking night and day difference of what the market is.
It's really bad right now.
But like now, you could, like, I know people that they have a collective household income of $200,000 and they have no moves to make.
I know.
They have to come up with 20%. For a $1 million 3-bedroom that they don't even know, like for us to secure this house, we got to pay $1 million. What is the worth of the house, including the land? Probably 550,
Not
600.
even close, yeah.
But the bidding war
is what's killing you,
driving all these prices. So the question is, they always say a bubble's gonna burst. The bubble's gonna burst, but I just see
Canada's
growth slowing down. Until like a couple of years go by, and then the growth will start increasing. But I don't see the houses being like, oh, I know I bought it for $1 million like last year, and next year they're selling for 700. I don't see that. I see them just a new base happening.
Well,
but
need
like
buyers.
The growth slows down, right? But like buyers. I'm just like, what this did was like it's forcing a massive amount of people into renting, which is like, I don't know what this does in the long term because this shit is not an option anymore to buy a place. You gotta like get $100,000 from your parents, buy a 2-bedroom when you wanted to buy a semi-detached.
You're gonna rent. Most people will rent for the rest of their life, and when you rent, you always have to work because you got to make rent. When you're a landlord, people who pay your bills,
paying your mortgage, yeah,
they pay for and it's effortless.
Well, no. I have friends who do it. It's bullshit. It's constant work, man. It's constant work.
Yeah, but you
like,
could hire people to do that for you.
Yeah. You subcontract.
It's really not that hard.
Well, a lot of people, once you have a couple properties, then you got property management.
You can leverage, man, and then you can refinance and take money out of because you're like
invest in other shit. Yeah,
it's never ending. So, but then it's like, is the whole country going to be a landlord now?
Well, I don't know.
Eventually, you're going to need tenants. But the more people they let into Canada, they do it strategically. I think we want to bring in another like 400,000 in the next year or two, or more than that, maybe almost 500,000 people. A lot of them are going to be rich. They're just going to come here, and hit the ground running with like millions of dollars. They're set. And then there's going to be like, some people who, like my parents, will be like beneficiaries of like, we get to leave some bullshit place and come here.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird to me when like, the middle class is nowhere near a level of owning property.
No, you can't. You can't work you can't have like labor be your form of income.
Even like I'm talking like professional, intellectual.
Yeah, everyone's fucked, man.
You could be teaching math at university right now and not be able to afford a house.
Yeah,
you need your wife to be a doctor.
Channel.
Or like you gotta have. It seems like you gotta have like I'm telling you, $1 million for a semi-detached, right? That's a $200,000 down payment. That's $800,000 you're mortgaging for a townhouse. You know what I mean? What's that payment a month? Fucking $4,500,
everything, yeah.
$5,200. What's that? You know what I mean?
Everything you got.
What do you do?
You don't eat.
You just keep renting and then
you Mr. Noodle.
My buddy who does real estate, he's like going out to Alberta. He's like, bro, the prices are still regular there. Like all those prices are beginning to jump. And imagine all like I realized that's what happened in Ontario. All the foreign people came, spiked it up. Then COVID hit, it got crazy. Alberta, now the locals are probably getting pissed because all of Ontario is going to try to make a profit.
They're looking
over
around,
there.
yeah.
Oh, my buddy just went and got 2 places in outside Calgary. He's like he's like very business savvy.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, yeah, the state tax, he goes, it's very attractive for investment, right? I'm like, bro, this
guy's giving me the speech.
There's people in Calgary like, fuck these fucking motherfuckers, you know?
For sure.
But, you know?
It's everywhere in the country, for sure. Because a lot of the most wealthiest people here are in real estate, like especially in Toronto. Like when you see someone driving around in like a Lamborghini SUV, and you're like, I wonder, like he must be like
That's
such
always a real estate. The
it's
Urus?
some fucking piece
who
of
drives
shit.
the
Who,
Urus?
yeah, it's some garbage a human being. It's not like
They always have a Botox smile.
Yeah, it's not a smart person. It's not an intellectual. It's not like someone
Socially
who's
savvy, emotionally intelligent.
solving issues for humanity. It's some fucking piece of shit who just sells property. That's it. Buys and sells and flips homes. And I'm a businessman. Get out of here.
Do you like South Park?
Yeah.
The most recent season? Are you watching it?
I haven't
Oh,
seen it.
dude, episode 3 of the most recent season, you're gonna die laughing, bro.
Okay.
The whole episode is about the bullshit of the real estate agent industry. Of like how it's all based on the picture.
It's terrible.
You know,
There's like
bro, watch that episode.
everyone's a realtor now.
Oh, it's
Every other day I open Instagram and another
with
friend
the new
of mine's
iPhone
like,
cameras,
yeah.
bro. You could just take
I'm a
your
realtor.
put a suit on, get a nice shadow going.
Yeah. There's a Persian realtor. She's like she's sponsored, so she ends up on my Instagram when I'm scrolling, and she makes the worst videos I've ever seen. Like I can't even remember her
Like
name.
walking into properties.
It's so bad. She's like, "Hello guys, I am inside the lobby of this building, and every waterfall in the living room and beautiful kitchen.
9-foot ceiling.
Just call me. Just call." And then that's the video, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
There's 9 people being like, "Please pick up."
Yeah.
It's like a bidding war. Like,
Well, I always wondered, like, when female realtors, when they put their numbers up, like the amount of dick pics they must get, like
Oh,
just unsolicited.
yeah, those pics they put up have to be their A game too.
Because they're like, call me, and then the guy's like, yeah, check this out, I'll call you. Sends a-
I feel like, yeah, right? Call this, bitch. But seriously, though, I am looking at that property, though. You're like, yeah, you show up at an open house. Hi, I'm Michael. I sent the cockpit.
yeah, this is how excited I am about this opportunity.
You just show up. It's like, oh,
She's like,
Michael.
yeah,
Oh,
there
right
you
this
are.
way.
How you doing? Have a seat.
Every time I go to North York and I look at the billboards, every billboard, the only thing being advertised is real estate. And it's so funny. I feel like as an Asian realtor, you have to get into Asian realty, you have to have 2 things. The money for a billboard and the money to go to the fucking city hall and change your name. Because all these names, there's no way these names, you know what I mean? It'll be like Jackie Lucky. And I literally saw one called Jackie Man. And he's like a little like Asian kid. I'm like, no. And he says, he's the man for you. Or like, he's the man who his word you can trust. Or something like that. I'm like, that guy went and changed his name just to like, as an up in the sales
gimmick,
game.
yeah. It's
right?
a gimmick.
Like, it's a
sales
investment here.
I saw a sign where the guy was like, "You are number one," because most realtors are like, "I'm number one. I'm the number
and his
one."
name is Michael One. Right?
Yeah,
I bet
something
his
like
last
that.
name
Yeah,
is One.
exactly. And he was like, you are number one," and I was like, "Fuck, nice man. I feel special now."
My
But
buddy.
it is a bubble though, like 100%.
A lot of those ads you see are prospective ads. I used to think like if I see the ad of person, they have so much money. They're running that bus ad. But my good buddy, that like one of my best friends I grew up with, the real estate agent, who was actually obsessed. He's fucking great. He's the one that was out investing in the West. But anyways, he bought 6 ads way back in the day for like 30 grand. 6 buses would run for like a month with his ads. And he was making no money at the time. He fronted the 30 in an effort to get a new wave of clients. I thought
that
it's like, I made 200, so I'll put 30 towards next. Like, no, it's like nothing was coming in. This was to get the wave. That's how saturated the market was like 6 years ago.
Yeah,
dude.
it's much
and
worse.
now it's like a nightmare.
There's like 2-bedroom condos for like $800,000. Like, get out of here. What do you mean? What is this made of? What is this? Not wood and brick? Is it gold and
This is
precious metals? Get out of here, man.
It makes a great case for renting, and just investing
And just live your life,
elsewhere.
man.
Yeah,
Just live your life.
Because it's like, okay, I could buy for 800, or I could rent it for 1800. How does that? Wait,
Yeah, I could just live here. Yeah.
wait, I could rent it for 20, or I could own it and pay a $6,000 mortgage. But then you're owning it, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and then I
I
can't
own
do
it, and
anything.
I owe $9,000 in property tax a year.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I mean?
I can't afford anything.
Yeah.
No, it's not worth it. There is an argument to be made about renting, putting some money aside to do what you want to do, travel or.
Well, I'm just saying real estate is not the investment right now. That's why people are going crazy in crypto and this and that. Back when I graduate high school, the smart move to make, university, was you buy a pre-construction lot. This was the move. You buy that lot. In 2 years, the home is going to be built on it, or in 1 year.
Yeah.
And you have a scheduled payment. You agree on a price now. By the time the home is built, you have already appreciated a year in value. And then you got to hold it for a year to like avoid the capital gains tax on it.
Yeah.
So it's like a 2-year period that you're holding it. And
You have to occupy it too.
You don't have to occupy
No?
it. Someone has to occupy it. You don't
Yeah.
have to occupy
Okay.
it. You can rent it. But like this is the move. Like everyone does pre-constructions. You'll buy a couple of those.
But those
'Cause
are
I
so
only have to give
competitive.
I only have to give 5% up front.
Every year, yeah.
But now it's like totally different because now it's like the unit is worth 700. You know what I mean?
Well, they're
like before it's
they're
built,
selling them for
it's-
what they think it'll be worth.
Yeah, exactly. It's relative to the market.
And also
whereas
they're
that
not
unit was
selling them.
350 3 years ago.
It's the brokers that are buying them and then adding a little markup to sell it to you. I tried to buy a pre-construction in Burlington.
Yeah.
There was a condo on
everyone
Lakeshore.
wants them. Every
They were
everyone wants
gone,
them.
and
Yeah.
and they're like, but these realtors now they have them. You can go after this guy and he'll assign it to you, but you
Oh.
got to give him like an extra 20K. And I'm
Of
like,
course.
eat shit. Yeah, like,
They're literally just juggling the properties.
yeah. It's
Because they know it's like hot cross buns, and I don't know if that's even the right analogy, but it's like this is something
no,
going.
they're all
up in value.
scumbags. It's scum, hot crust scum. That's what it like. They're literally. I watched them on Instagram. They're like they celebrated when they sold everything. Like that unit that I wanted to buy.
Yeah.
They sold like the entire first phase.
Yeah.
And they were there gifting each other Gucci bags and like Chanel and this. And I'm like, okay, these are realtors who are supposed to be. They have a
Looking out for
fiduciary
you.
responsibility.
Yeah,
Right. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's so funny. They're like, we sell every lot. Everyone get new home.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
It's a
It's
joke.
like they're actually all
It's
white.
a joke,
but
man.
still.
No. This one was like a bunch of brown dudes
I for sure. If it's Gucci and Chanel
in Burlington. Yeah,
yeah.
Buddy. Yeah, no, it was not a good experience. But you can't get in the market even if you tried. You're always gonna have somebody bidding like some ridiculous amount.
Like I remember, like 6 months ago, I was emceeing a wedding and I was just chilling. I was waiting for shit to happen. I called my buddy, realtor. He had a client who listed his house in Milton, single garage. It's like 2,600 square foot. It's like a regular house, regular family, nice home, nice backyard. Listed it for $1 million. In 24 hours, they got an offer for 1.38. So the guy who offered the 1.38 just kind of wasn't a bidding war up to that. There was an offer for like 1.1 and like he just jumped 280 surplus just to be like, I just lock it in for me kind of thing.
Jesus Christ.
So
what do you think that does to the neighborhood?
1.4 million in Milton, like it's in a regular neighborhood. I
know.
forget the address, but I Google mapped it. I was talking to him. It's a regular house.
It fucks up the
A
neighborhood.
regular house. You know what I mean? So I'm like, if that is 1.4, who can afford to have a house?
Well, you're not gonna say no to that offer.
No, of course you never would. But like I'm saying, like that
And
guy's
then
fucking up the
you
market.
won't sell it for less, right?
So you're gonna hold it for fucking.
That's why
12 years.
there needs to be some sort of control like they have in Quebec, like Montreal, where like you guys can't do this. Like rent is this.
Like
and
it has to be relative to
controlled, yeah.
growth. Yeah.
You and the government of Canada loves to control everything we do. Why aren't you here in Toronto controlling real estate a little bit more?
I know.
You should be
Montreal, you could
regulated.
rent a place for like a very affordable amount.
Yeah.
They kept that shit like within like.
And then they
reasonable-
added this foreign buyers tax because they're like, that'll slow it down. And it's like, no, that's just a revenue generator for you guys.
Yeah, and people dip around it all the time. They'll find a cousin that did their taxes
It's the
here
worst,
last
man.
year, so they just need someone who did their tax return last year that showed that they lived here. So then you get your cousin to buy it, and
Yeah.
then you just cut him in on it. So they
Cousin,
like,
brother.
Asian money and like brown money and African every
All
kind
over.
of money is smart.
Arab
you know,
money, yeah.
it'll fucking find its path of least resistance.
I
They're
know.
not going to be like 100% tariff. Okay, you know what I
Why
mean?
not? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No,
It
they're
means
gonna find a
nothing.
cousin.
It means
cousin,
nothing.
I'll give you $5,000. I'll front everything.
Because go find out how they got that money over there to bring it here. But that's what we have to do here. We don't really have like a very robust, diverse economy. In America, they do. They have all kinds of industry. They have like almost infinite resources, it seems like.
Because it's free market economy, bro.
But here it's like we have to mine or do agriculture. Like we got to pull some stuff out of the ground.
Well, there's so much like government involvement in, like, I get it when it comes to real estate prices and like making sure crazy bubbles don't happen. But let people sell alcohol at a convenience store. Let people sell alcohol at a gas station.
Right.
Let people sell
Control
all the shit.
rent.
What is this bullshit with only at LCBO, all that shit? Like bro, now that myself, Conrad, you know Conrad obviously, and Mark Corliss, we made a show called Not Working, and we submitted it to Toronto Sketchfest. It got in.
Nice.
But for the last 6 months, we've been trying to go the traditional path of pitching it to CBC and trying to go this path.
Mm-hmm.
And CBC goes, okay, we like it, and for you to officially pitch to us, you need to have a production company attached to you. Because they can't deal with us unless it's through the means of another corporate entity. Okay, sure, that's how you run CBC? Okay, we find a production company that's like very popular in Toronto. It's known, they've worked with CBC a lot. A lot of people we know have worked with them. And they tell us, they're like, yeah, it's cool and everything, but like we don't have the capacity to commit to you until there's like CBC money, like for sure coming down the pipeline, because we can't bill against anything unless there's government money. So CBC is saying you need a production company. The production company is saying you need CBC. And we're just like, fuck it, we're going to write it ourselves, do it all ourselves.
Catch-22. You can't rely on industry anymore.
America actually has private money, like good ideas and truly novel like ideas and concepts and ventures can find private money, can find private momentum. Whereas Canada, the only source for the most part is the government. Everything comes from
it's favoritism. It's like some sort of nepotism.
Like, yeah, unless you're doing fucking lesbian trans stuff, then this is going to have to be incredible. This is going to have to truly be.
You have to be an insider.
Yeah, exactly. They run like the book of approved vendors list. That's how they do it. They're like, well, yeah, this guy did a show for us already, so let's fuck new people. Fuck, you know what I mean?
Reliable sources.
We only do business with people we've already done business with, which is, I get it, on some mafia level, but we're talking about creative arts here.
Not here, man. There's creativity. Creativity comes here to die.
That's why it forced everybody in America.
Yep, and that's at all levels.
You forced us to America.
See you guys.
You gave me no choice.
You gave me no choice. I had to go out there and tan
my hand.
In California. I had to go out in the sun.
Yeah, you look exactly the same.
I did my best. I was out there ass naked, just fucking give me some vitamin D.
If you tanned a lot, is it like they're like, Faraz, you're getting too dark? Like,
I don't think. Yeah, I mean now everything's like a screen at the airport. You don't talk to anybody anymore. You just like check yourself into the thing. There's like a one thing at the end where they just look and make sure that you did the thing, the declaration forms, and you had all your fucking Arrive cans ready. I know. Is Arrive can gonna stay? Because I'm gonna put a bullet in my head if Arrive can stays. I don't know, man. They didn't tell me. I didn't ask. I just didn't care. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, here's the receipt for the Arrive can. They were like, okay.
God, every single time. Canada sometimes is just like a fucking finger in your face. They're like, fuck you for living here. Yeah.
No, it's just control. There's too much control and not where it counts.
And Alberta feels like America. Alberta fully feels like America. And I didn't realize that until I went there to do comedy. I went there years ago. But now before I lived in America. And after living, I'm like, oh, Alberta, this is America. Mm-hmm. Gas stations are free. There's just liquor stores. You know what I mean? I arrived at the airport. Right next to my gate is a Chili's. Like, this is cowboy hats. Every truck is like an F-250 Super Duty. They're not even F-150s. Mm-hmm. F-150 is a small truck. I'm like, Alberta is Michigan. Alberta is the Midwest. So I'm like,
I mean, Ontario's like England's bitch. We're like, oh, the Queen. Oh.
Yeah, we have our economy is the most booming, and it's like, fuck off. But it's like, it feels like shit here. It doesn't feel free. It doesn't feel whatever.
I don't know what it feels like. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a real place.
And
it feels like if you say one thing wrong, they're like, especially in entertainment.
Just the fact that you could get every business you go to pretty much, and you go in without a mask, the person will tell you to put a mask on. Whereas in America, the employee seems to still have that vibe of like, if I don't care about the mask, I'm not going to tell you. Whereas here, they're like, I don't care about the mask, but I know the work does, so I'm going to impose it. Like, that's a very Ontario thing.
Mine and your chance of getting sick walking into a place for a minute or two to grab something and come out is lower than someone who works there all day.
Yeah.
Because all of these people keep circling around, so they'll wear their mask for much longer
But
than
they'll
we
tell
will.
you.
But, eventually it's like these...
Do you really care? You really will not ring up this Mars bar for me if I don't put on a mask right now?
Yeah.
Is it because like your work is being extra anal, or what is it exactly at this point?
Yeah.
I go into places always without a mask now, and then I have the mask in my hand. I just try to.
You're getting used to the
I
freedom.
do it.
Yeah.
No, I do it just to like see how far I can go before someone asks
people here
me.
have not
people
even-
look. Ontario all the time.
I know.
I'm not going to be able to check out whatever I want or buy whatever I want without someone saying put the mask on.
Wow.
Which is very Ontario.
Yeah, for
Fucking
sure.
wrap it up.
But California,
up.
dude, California, I was there right before their mask mandate and after. Like, I don't know how that worked out, but I was there like February 23rd to like March 4th. March 1st was the end of their mask thing. And I remember leading up to it, everybody was like, it's done. Like, but
Exactly.
here they've
People should-
announced it, and I don't think people believe it's going to happen.
People
yet.
should adopt that. The second they're like, it ends at the end of the month, but until then, face coverings will keep us safe for the next 3 weeks. Keep them on, but at the end of the month.
Oh, yeah. No, they just said in California, like, look, just take like regular precautions. Like, if you are sick, like stay home.
Stay at home, like the flu protocol.
Yeah, like wear a mask, if you're going to go out,
If you're
if you're
coughing or
actively
sneezing,
sick.
And you have to leave, put a mask on. Otherwise, don't come out.
Yeah.
Be
and
sick at home.
Wash your hands type shit.
Yeah. It's just literally defaulting to general rules of living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People have colds. It's the wintertime. Colds and flus are around us. Wash your hands regularly. Like they had those posters. Let's just go back to that shit.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Well, next time you come on the podcast, my friend, it'll be maskless. And I appreciate you showing up today.
Forever.
Maskless as
Yeah,
fuck. Thank you for
Hell yeah.
that. It warmed
yeah,
my
dude.
heart when people come in here. The worst is when someone comes to my house right now and is like, is it cool? I'm like, yeah, man.
Is it cool?
Yeah. Get the fucking mask on.
What were you going to leave it on the whole
Yeah,
time?
yeah. Like, take it. Like,
I
Lau's gonna
identify
be
you.
like, can you actually put that on?
You were going to be like Bane.
Put it on.
No one cared who I was until
Before
I
the
put on
mask.
the mask.
Yeah. I was born in the darkness, raised by it, molded. I just watched the new Batman yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
It's okay. It's okay.
What's,
okay.
How long is it?
3 hours.
Fuck, well, I got to stop doing that.
I know.
Yo, Dune was like the last 2.5 hour movie I'm going to watch for a while. That movie's long.
They're getting real comfortable with a 2.5 hour movie is the new 2 hour movie, by the way.
Dude, and like there's a lot of scenes where you're like, I don't know if I needed that scene.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman is full of those. So look forward to that shit. But anyways, brother, you want to land the podcast?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Look at this camera. Tell these people where to find you.
Find me on TikTok. Find me on TikTok, Gypsy Tier 69, and you can find me on Instagram, Gypsy Tier 69. Everything else I do online is kind of pointless. Don't be adding me on Snapchat or WeChat.
Don't do it.
Or WhatsApp. None of that stuff.
None of it.
Just stay off that stuff. Just find me on. I mean, Snapchat if you want, like a zip file of dick pics. I'll send that out. But
Persian cock 69 or 68. 69 wasn't available.
stay off my Twitter. Stay off all that stuff. Just go to TikTok and watch me make shitty duets and my Instagram.
As always, scroll below to find those links. From my end, you can follow the socials at Abbas Wahab _ all of them, TikTok, Instagram, and get your tickets for the Immigrant Section comedy tour at abbaswahab.com. That is coming to Southwestern Ontario. Get those tickets. Yes, brother, this has been a fucking pleasure, man.
Love it.
As always, come back soon.
I would love to.
right?
Next weekend.
Yeah, imagine it's like, you call me? Oh, Faraz, you
I'm
just
outside
came
the
on.
window.
Yeah. He's here. He was just on last week. He's back again.
Yeah.
My guy Faraz. Anyways, until next time, y'all been great. Peace.
See ya.